I call Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 the greatest remake ever made. I think it embodies everything a remake should be. If you close your eyes and imagine an old game in the modern day, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 is a perfect example of that. By doing this crazy balancing act I think remakes need to do to be done right. Keeping the same mechanics, zhuzhing up the graphics to make it look modern, but maintain what made the game a classic in the first place, and keeping the nostalgia all at the same time, and I feel like that game really much did that. But that was 5 years ago. Can they do it again with Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4? I don't see why not. They should, right? Well, let's see if they did. Let's take a look at Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 Remake. The Tony Hawk series is a pioneer in the gaming space for basically inventing a genre of game. The gameplay is so satisfying and addicting on its own, I'm still puzzled how they were able to screw this up in the later entries. But now the controls are even faster and more responsive, and it's very easy to become one with your skater. Combo transitions are as smooth as ever, and it's still the classic gameplay we all know and love, which is great, especially when you combine it with the iconic sound effects that just keep you juiced throughout your entire run. That balancing act that I mentioned in the beginning was really done perfectly for the gameplay here. I did the tutorial just in case there was something new added, but there isn't, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Any Tony Hawk Pro Skater veteran can just pick up a controller and play this game immediately. It's really amazing how the controls of the original game just turned out to be timeless. So mechanically, from a pressy the button standpoint, this game is as awesome as ever. But here comes some of the nitpicks. There's still one thing missing that I believe would make this game 100 times better, at least for me personally. And I said this when I did the Pro Skater 1 and 2 video as well. And that is the ability to be able to hop off your board. I know you couldn't do that in the first 4 Pro Skaters. It wasn't a thing until Tony Hawk Underground, but that mechanic just opens things up way more, especially when you find yourself in tight and kind of specific places. Now this doesn't happen too often, but when it does, all I could think about is I wish I could hop off this board to be able to get my shit together. Now the gameplay loop is as fun as ever. You're dropped in a level and have a set of goals to complete before the time runs out. You complete the challenges, you unlock more levels, you rinse and repeat, and you have a ton of fun until you complete the game. Now, there was one change that I discovered later that solved the biggest issue that I have with the Tony Hawk Pro Skater games in general. The time limit. And if there's one thing you need to know about me is that I hate time limits in games. I hate time limits in general. They're my worst enemy. Whenever I see them in games, I literally growl. I hate them. They're just so restricting and annoying. And in Tony Hawk Pro Skaters, I think they're the worst. Because it's only 2 minutes. So the first run, when you don't know this level, you really just use it to scramble and mess around to familiarize yourself with the level. In the second run, you start to identify the goal you want to do, and then you start knocking them down. But especially when it comes to goals where you have to collect or find stuff, the time limit is really in the way. I don't know how many times it's happened to me when I've found 4 out of the 5 things and the time runs out. I really blame the fact that I'm a die-hard Underground guy, and like all my Tony Hawk Underground nostalgia feelings are in those games. I really think that those games are better than the Pro Skaters. I don't know if that's a hot take or not. I really just love the open world aspect to it, how much you can explore, mess around, and then whenever you want to, engage with someone and start their goal. And in the Pro Skaters, you can only do that 2 minutes at a time unless you hop onto the free skate. But you can't do the goals in free skate. So while I was messing around the menus, trying to find this stupid filter I bought, I found it. The option to change the time. Now with the timer technically off, I mean it's not off, but I did set it to an hour, even though I never really used the whole time to complete it, but it just made my personal experience way better. It allows you to explore while doing goals and messing around the whole level, and that's really how I enjoy playing these games. And that's what I really love about this game, is that thing is just an option. If you still want to be faithful and you want to keep it at 2 minutes, go ahead. If you think adding time takes the challenge away, I honestly can somewhat agree with that. To me, rushing to do things isn't super fun, and it's like I'm gonna retry it anyway, so it just felt like a big waste of time of retrying it over and over and over again. Just shut the time off and let me do it when I can. And if the whole time thing and how fast to do it is a thing for you, well, hey, look, there's even a mode for you to see how fast you can do it all. And that's great. I'm not gonna touch that mode because I don't care. Even though I'm joking, it's really about fun, and I love when the same game can provide different versions of fun. Another thing I do for fun is turning on perfect rails. I did beat the levels of 3 without it, and halfway through 4, I remember that it was even a thing and I turned it on. I don't turn them on because I need it. I turn it on because that's how I enjoy the game. I don't know, it might be something attached to my childhood or something because I remember having them on all the time as a kid. I don't know, it just gives me some sort of comfort or something, I don't know. I just find customizing playstyles to be very important, and there really is a lot that you can tweak to do so in this game, and I very much appreciate it. There are a cool variety of goals to do here, with some even leading towards some fun slapstick comedy cutscenes. Nothing too crazy, it does feel very tame compared to stuff that happens in past games. After getting every goal from every level, you unlock pro goals, where you get 5 extra pro goals per location. Plus, you have the gaps and the secrets in each location and the challenges to do to unlock accessories and clothes and stuff. So there's definitely a lot you can do. Plus, scattered throughout the level, there are also skill points you can get to beef up your character, and there's a bunch of rewards and money that you can get to spend at the shops. I thought this was going to be the best shop ever in any video game ever because I saw Tony the Tiger on a deck. It's Tony the Tiger! But then it quickly just felt like weird product placement. Even though skating, the sport, is all about sponsorships anyway, so it doesn't feel crazy out of place, like maybe seeing like a Pepsi commercial while flying around in Manhattan as Spider-Man or something like that. But after the excitement of being a Tony the Tiger stand wore off, some of the product placement did feel a little icky. But really, outside of a few things that I felt obligated to buy due to how I was raised, es la Virgencita, I have to buy it. Honestly, most of the stuff in the shop isn't great. Yeah, sorry, I had to. It's just not crazy enough, and it ends up feeling a bit lackluster overall. The crazy element that Tony Hawk Games had is really lacking in the shop department. Everything is pretty plain, like the same color type of hoodies with tiny logos that sets them apart. Same with the shirts. Yeah, you can change the colors, but it's just not unique enough. I think I ended up buying like the wildest things you could buy, which is like a suit and some just like stuff with different textures, but it's just really not that wild. Like, give me some mascots things like a hawk or a damn elephant head or zombie makeup or a Viking outfit, Tarzan. I don't know. Just give me more fun stuff. Their version of fun is just like colors. I couldn't even make my skeleton guy that I always make in the Underground games. To be fair, I couldn't make him in the 1 and 2 remake either, but that's really my point. Why are there more options available in the character customization in the 20-year-old Underground games than there are in these remakes? I will say that the roster of skaters is really huge, and even though I don't really keep up with the sport enough to know them all, there's a nice mix of young skater, big names, and even legends, as well as a few surprises outside of the pre-orders, including Bam Margera, who got screwed in the last entry, so I'm very glad to see that he's featured in this game. I never actually played the original Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 or 4, so these levels really feel brand new to me. I have no nostalgia feelings to them, but I still thought they were really fun. Some more than others, but overall it's a nice mixed bag. Their design is still great with fun setups, with one thing leading to another for great lines and combos, and combining both games, it really has a healthy amount of levels. I did wish that some of the competition levels also had goals just to give us even more stuff to do, but I really thought that everything looked great. The brand new levels are also really fun, and I really liked how much goes on in some of them, like the chaos that you can do before it transforms the level a little bit. And I also like that they kind of force you to do that because you need to do that in order to unlock some of the later goals.
Please, I have a toy Pomeranian to take care of at home.
So I was about to praise this game for being on par with its predecessor, but I just learned a very important lesson on what you don't know won't hurt you. Because like I said, I did not play Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 or 4, so I didn't know what was missing from the originals. And turns out it's quite a bit, starting with the music. I originally thought it was a good mix of music, different styles from different eras, but apparently there is a ton of music missing from the original games. So this collection of music compared to the OGs really just provided a totally different vibe altogether, which is one of the big criticisms I've been seeing online. Also, the fact that Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 was open world, where it would allow you, like in Underground, to run around and engage with NPCs for the goals rather than having the time limit, means technically that game did not get remade. It's more like the levels got formatted to fit this game loop. Plus, there are a couple of fan favorite levels that are completely missing, called Chicago and Carnival, that would have been nice to have. Another complaint that I've been seeing is that the zoo level sucks compared to the OG. They made it a competition level here, and compared to the original, it just looks kind of dead because it's abandoned. And the first, you can tell that there's so much life going on, there's animals, and here it's just kind of depressing, if I'm honest. So overall, while there's a ton of good from this game, I also understand fans of the original's frustrations. Things that might look just like nitpicks from the outside looking in are things that were left at the cutting room floor that fans maybe wanted to see. Sadly, I think that's just the era of gaming that we've been in for a while, where studios don't manage to give the people everything they want. They're always looking to cut corners and finding ways to give us less for more. Hopefully moving forward, they don't think less is more, because when it comes to remakes, it's not. More is more. Don't ever cut things out of a remake unless it's making it better, which it rarely is. I still think they did enough great to not earn total ill will with players. So whether moving forward they remake Underground 1 and 2 next, which, oh my god, yes, gimme, or they drop Tony Hawk Pro Skater 6, I think it will still be highly anticipated. Because at the end of the day, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 Remake is a very fun game that I enjoyed my time with. It combines classic nostalgia gameplay with new visuals. But for how many steps the first remake took compared to the original, it does feel like 3 and 4 took a half a step back compared to 1 and 2. Those are my thoughts on Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 Remake. Let me know yours down in the comments. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Do you think anything else was missing from the remake? What do you want to see moving forward? Any and all Tony Hawk thoughts? Let them fly down in the comments. And while you're down there, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to always and forever, you do you.